Good morning, guys. Hope you're doing well. Today I want to talk about vision plans and should you have a vision plan. I think for me, vision plans make sense because it could be your way of creating a guide towards your ideal life, right? So for me, your ideal life is the life that you hope to have. What is the perfect day and what is the perfect environment for that day? Um, I think we all have individual goals and desires for what our ideal life is, right? Um, for some, it might be to live in a big house and make a lot of money. For others, it may be have good work-life balance and, just live in, a decent sized, condo or house eventually. Um, and so I think in order to guide you, I think vision plans are good because they can create an action plan, right? So if you want to live in a $300,000, condo or house, and you estimate, the down payment being 20%, you can say to yourself, I need to save $60,000. And say you want to save that amount in 10 years, that means you need to save 6,000 a year, which means you need to save $500 a month. And so I think, having that vision plan of, wanting to attain something in 10 years, especially if it's financially motivated, it can help break it down to, okay, you need to save $500 a month. I think it also works for career goals. So if you want to be at a certain level at a company, you can chart out, sort of the journey, right? Say you want to, you know, just an example of maybe it takes 2 years as an associate, 2 years as an analyst, and 2 years as an associate director, 2 years as a director, 3 years as a global manager. I mean, and so forth. And maybe, after that point, um, as a C-suite level executive, then you can say, listen, I'm 14 years away from that C-suite level position. And I think having the benchmarks of where you hope to be at a certain time, right? For that example, you can say and or reflect in 2 years and say, did I get the analyst role, right? And am I close to that? If not, Um, and I think, obviously it works with personal life goals as well. I think the main thing with vision plans is just remember there are a lot of uncontrolled variables. I think if COVID taught us anything, it's that, plans can be scrapped in a second. Um, a lot of people had wedding plans or things of that nature, and those got postponed, and a lot of businesses had to adjust to the new normal of the pandemic state. Um, Even beyond that, I think, unfortunately, death is an important, like, plays a role in life, right? I had a person on the podcast named Jenny Lisk, and she lost her husband to brain cancer. And then, a couple of years later after that, started a community for widows. Um, I don't think that, certainly losing her husband wasn't in her vision plan. You look at the work that I'm doing with Grateful Living. I mean, I've lost 3 people to suicide in the last 5 years. Not that I had a vision plan, but that definitely wouldn't have been on my vision plan. And, as you get older, and maybe your parents' health might be getting, a little, a little bit um, worse or whatever. You might have to move to be a caretaker. I mean, those things can't necessarily plan for those. And I also think that, like, through life and through experience, your ideas for an ideal life might change, right? You might, in that scenario that I presented earlier, be like in that analyst role and realize, hey, listen, I don't want to be in this industry. And then you might change industries altogether. And so that whole vision plan of the 14-year plan to becoming a C-suite executive, that gets thrown out the window because you don't really enjoy the higher level positions in that industry. Um, the one thing I'll say with vision plans, at least from my perspective, is I think you should make the North Star as extreme as possible. I think that way, even if you don't reach it, you pushed yourself a long way. I think, for example, I think about like running goals, right? It's like, say you have a 10-minute mile and you want to bring it down to 8. It's by pushing yourself to like trying to become a 6-minute miler that you get to getting to an 8-minute mile, right? Um, so even if your goal was, I want to be a chief marketing officer for a company, then you end up only becoming a global marketing manager. That's not bad in the sense that you, by pushing yourself towards that North Star, um, you ended up coming a long way. Um, so overall, I guess I would say vision plans can be a helpful guide, and I do think I'd be an advocate for making them if you find that you're anxious about the future and you want to plan, what you can try to do. Um, but I think just like with anything, just you know, make sure that you realize life is unpredictable, variables can change, things can happen, you can experience life and your mindset might change. So just, there's no way to account for that, but I think um, there's an aspect of you can evaluate your vision plan every year and adjust accordingly. Hope that helps. Let me know if you have any comments or thoughts on vision plans yourself. Thanks, guys.